Hello and welcome everyone. I hope you all are fit and fine. Students, in the previous class I was explaining you about statutory corporations. Okay, so I explained you about the meaning of statutory corporation. We were in the features of statutory corporation. I explained you till the fourth point. Today we are beginning with the fifth point. So let us begin now. So here the fifth features of the statutory corporation is power and objectives are defined in the act only. Okay, so here we have studied in the previous class, student, that the statutory corporations are the corporation which has separate legal entity. Okay, you can also call it as separate legal existence or separate legal identity, anything. Okay, so they have separate legal identity. How they have separate legal identity? Because it is formed by the special act of parliament and it is managed by the board of directors who are appointed by the government. So it is owned by somebody else and managed by somebody else. So whenever the owner and the manager of any corporation are different, then we call that particular enterprise as separate legal enterprise who has separate legal existence. Okay, so here it is said that the power and the objectives means power, the control power, power to take decisions. Okay, these are all mentioned in the special act which are passed by the government. Okay, what powers they have, okay, what objectives they have, what aim they have, what goals they have to fulfill, everything is mentioned under that particular act. Okay, now next is own staff. Public corporation has its own rules of recruitment and remunerations. Now statutory corporations like these: Unit Trust of India, Life Insurance Corporation, GAIL, SCI, FCI, these are the corporations. Okay, statutory corporation. So these corporations are the corporation who have देयर ओन रूल ऑफ रिक्रूटमेंट एंड रेम्यूनरेशन. मतलब उनके खुद के रिक्रूटमेंट प्रोसीजर्स होते हैं, उनके खुद के रूल्स रेगुलेशंस होते हैं रिगार्डिंग द रेम्यूनरेशन एक्सेट्रा. ओके, regarding the recruitment of the staff and the remuneration of the staff, they have their own particular rules and regulations. They do not follow others rules and regulations. Okay, now the next is administrative autonomy. Okay, now these corporations have the administrative power. Okay, they have the administrative power, they have the autonomy of the power, means the power is in the the power is with them only. Okay, so the administrative power is with them only. They're free from political interference. Okay, no government interference is allowed, no political interference is allowed in these types of corporations. Okay, they are free from the interference, political interference. Okay, they enjoy the autonomy. Okay, they manage all the activities, they take the decisions by themselves, and they manage their administration by themselves, as there is no interference of the political department. Okay, now the next is they are accountable to parliament. Definitely, as they are formed by the special act of parliament. Okay, they are formed by the special act of parliament. So whatever happens, okay, in these corporations, okay, so the head of these corporations are directly accountable to whom? To the parliament. So they have to inform about all this scenario to the parliament. Okay, or the state legislative assembly. Okay, so they have to discuss everything with the parliament or the state legislative assembly. So all the performance of the corporations undertaking can be discussed in the parliament. Okay, so that is why it is said that they are accountable to parliament. So these are some of the characteristics, features of statutory corporations. Now we will move to its merits and demerits. Let us begin with the merits first. See the first point, administrative autonomy. I explained you in the characteristics itself, they enjoy the autonomy. Okay, they enjoy the autonomy means there is no political interference. They are able to manage their matters by themselves, no external interference is there, so they enjoy the autonomy. Okay, so a public corporation is able to manage its affairs, okay, by themselves. Okay, and there is no external interference. Now there is quick decision. Okay, quick decision, why? It's very common. Quick decision क्यों होगा? जैसे हमने पढ़ा यहाँ पे क्विक डिसीजन पॉसिबल नहीं है. देर इज रेड टेपिज्म. वाई देर इज रेड टेपिज्म? बिकॉज दे आर ओवरलोडेड विद द work of the government, because government always interferes in their work. There is political interference. But in statutory corporation, they are able to do they are able to take quick decisions. Why? Because they are free from red tapeism. They are free from red tapeism means they are free from red tapeism means they are free from the burden of the government. There is less legal for there is less formalities, government formalities. Okay, there is less file work or paperwork. They are not overburdened with the paperwork. Okay, so there is less formality and there is lack of red tapeism. There is no red tapeism. Okay, and they are free to take the decisions whenever it is needed to be taken. Okay, so there is quick decision in this statutory corporations. Now the service motive. Okay, so here the service motive is what? These are students, ultimately these are which enterprises? These are public enterprises, right? These are the forms of public enterprises. So the main motive of these public enterprises is to provide services to whom? To the public. Okay, so they work for the public interest. So they work for the public interest, to support the public, to provide benefits to the public. Okay, so they work for the public interest. Now efficient staff. In statutory corporations, they have efficient staff. How the staff work efficiently, how they are dedicated to do the work, how they are motivated to do the work, because they have their own rules and regulation. They do not have the external interference of the government or the political affair. Okay, so they have their own rules and regulation, and plus as we studied here, that they select their staff by themselves and they recruit by their staff by using their own rules and regulations, and they give remuneration to their staff by their under their own policy of the corporations. Okay, there is no political interference. So definitely, due to which what the people or the employees who are working under these corporations will be will get more facilities. Okay, they're not they're not bound to do the work forcefully. Okay, so that is why they work efficiently. So definitely efficient staff is there, so that is a merit for these enterprises. Okay, now professional management is again a merit for statutory corporations. Now professional management means what? That the corporations, okay, these statutory corporations are managed by the professionals means the experts. These are managed by the professionals, the experts. Okay, they are the experts of their own field. These are managed by whom? The board of directors. Okay, these are managed by the board of directors. So board of directors are the experts. Okay, they are the business experts. Okay, they can be the manager, they can belong to different labor group. Okay, anybody. Okay, so the management of the business is done through professional experts. So definitely the work will be done in a better way. Okay, carried out effectively and efficiently. Now, so these were the merits or you can say the advantages of statutory corporations or public corporations. Okay, now we will see the demerits of statutory corporations. So the first is autonomy on paper only. Now you will say, ma'am, in the merit you said that they enjoy the autonomy because they have their own rules and regulations and they manage their affairs by themselves. Then why again autonomy is a demerit? Student, as we know that statutory corporation is one of the type of public corporation. Okay, so all the public corporations are under the government control. So in a way, some way or the other, okay, they are under the control of the government. So they enjoy the autonomy power. That it shows that they enjoy the autonomy power because they have their own rules and regulations. They recruit their staff by their own rules and regulations. They give remuneration or salary to the staff according to their own policy. Okay, but the autonomy which they enjoy is just on paper. It means that if we will see practically, okay, in practical world, in real world, then they face the interference of the government. Okay, so the government and the political interference are there. Okay, now The next is a lack of initiative. Initiative means to take the first step or to initiate something, to begin something. Okay, so there is lack of initiative in these type of corporations. Why? Because public corporations do not have to face any competition. Okay, because they are not guided by profit motive. Lack of initiative students, for example, like a businessman. Okay, so the businessman will work hard to grow his business. Okay, to grow his business, to um, expand his business, and basically to earn more and more profit, to earn more and more money, because businessman does the business only for one reason, to earn money. Okay, so the main motive is to what? The basic motive, not the only reason, but the basic and the main motive is to earn what? Is to earn money, is to earn profit. So they have the profit intention. Okay, उनका objective क्या रहता है? Profit कमाना. But these are the public enterprise, the public corporations or the statutory corporations which you say, these are the public enterprises, right? These are the government these are the type of government enterprises. Okay, so here they do not work for profit. Okay, here they do not work for profit. Okay, their motive is not to earn profit. Okay, so in this what happens generally, the employees get demotivated. Okay, the employees get demotivated and they do not take any initiative to do something extra. Okay, वो initiative नहीं लेते या कोई interest नहीं लेते उनके काम करने में, जो उनको बोला जाता है according to the rules and regulations of the government, they do the work that much. Okay, उससे ज़्यादा वो कुछ नहीं करते, because they are not, like, they are guided that the profit is not the motive of these type of corporation. Profit generate करना उनका motive नहीं है. Okay, their motive is what? They have the service motive. Service motive means to work for the public. Okay, they have to work for the public, in the public interest. Okay, they will not work to earn the profit. So यहाँ पे क्या होता है? They earn less income, or the revenue is generally reduced. Okay, they earn less revenue, they do not take initiative, or they do not take interest in doing something by themselves, something new thing. Okay, so this is due to the rules and regulations of the government. Okay, now one more demerit is that it has a rigid structure. Rigid means which is not flexible, which cannot be changed, which is fixed. Okay, so we know that the statutory corporations are the corporations which are formed by the special act, which are passed by the government. Okay, so these corporations are the rigid structure. Okay, these corporations are the rigid structure. Why it is said as a rigid structure means because all the powers, as we studied in the definition itself, students, that all the powers, objectives, functions, means whatever the objectives they have, whatever the powers they will get, whatever the functions they have to do, so everything is predetermined by the special act. Okay, so सब कुछ fix है पहले से, they cannot change anything, everything is fixed by the parliament, so they cannot implement anything, or there is no flexibility. Okay, so that is why it is very complicated for them, because the structure is very rigid and they have to work according to the act of the parliament. Now, unfair trade practices. So the next demerit is unfair practices. Now student, unfair practices means what? These are the government like corporate bodies, right? So here they may indulge in unfair trade practice, like you might have heard, like to take, like they take bribe and all. Okay, so generally what happens, generally these government departments are the departments, many department. Okay, the employees get less salary. Why? Because we know that the whatever the income which are earned by these public departments or these public corporations directly go to the government treasury. Okay, these goes to the government treasury. So in order to earn more, the employees of these corporations get indulged in unfair practices. Okay, like the black money, and they take bribe and all, so due to which they carry out unfair practices. So these are some of the merits of public corporations. Okay, so students, here we complete the second form of public sector enterprises, which is the statutory corporations. We have seen the meaning of it, we have completed the characteristics, features of it, and plus the merits and the demerits. Okay, So, students, we have till now studied the two types of public sector enterprise. Okay, so we studied about departmental undertakings, means the departments of the government, and plus we have seen the public corporations. Okay, the corporate bodies which are formed by the parliament, a special act passed by the parliament. Okay, now we will move to the next and the last type of public sector enterprises, which is the government company. Okay, now let us see, let us learn about the government company. Okay, so government company is the third form of public sector enterprises. Okay, this is the third form of public sector enterprises. Now read the explanation given below to understand the meaning. Government company, students, in general, if I say government company, by the name itself you can identify company of the government. Okay, government company is the company of the government. That's the government company, very simple. Now specifically we will study about its meaning here. Read the explanation given below. A government company is a company in which not less than 51% of the paid up share capital is held by the central government or state government or jointly by both. It is registered as per Companies Act 1956. Students, government company, as I told you, government companies are the companies which are under the government control. Okay, these are under the government control. These can be managed by state government or can be central government or can be by jointly by both. Okay, as it is written here. Okay, now one more important thing which you need to see here is a government company is a company in which not less than 51% of the paid up capital is held by the central state or the central government, state government, or jointly by both. It means that any company, okay, any normal company will be termed as a government company if 51% of its share will be in the hands of दी गवर्नमेंट. मतलब 51% शेयर किसके हाथ में होना चाहिए? गवर्नमेंट के हाथ में. चाहे वो स्टेट गवर्नमेंट हो, चाहे वो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट हो, चाहे वो दोनों क्यों ना हो. सो 50%, सॉरी 51%. ओके, तो यहाँ पे 51% शेयर किसका होना चाहिए इन एनी कंपनी टू बी टर्म्ड एज अ गवर्नमेंट कंपनी? कोई भी नॉर्मल कंपनी. ओके, to be termed it as a government company, it should have how much share of the of the government? 51%. Okay, so here a government company is the company in which at least 51% of the share capital. Okay, the capital means the amount which is generally invested to start a बिजनेस और टू स्टार्ट अ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन और टू स्टार्ट अ कंपनी. जो कैपिटल अमाउंट रहता है जनरली वो अमाउंट है जिससे कंपनी या बिजनेस को बिगिन किया जाता है, कमेंस किया जाता है, स्टार्ट किया जाता है. तो उसमें से 51% शेयर किसका होना चाहिए? गवर्नमेंट का. इट कैन बी सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट, इट कैन बी ऑफ सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट और स्टेट गवर्नमेंट और बोथ central or state. So the company which has not less than 51% of the paid up share capital is held by the central government, state government or jointly by both. Then only it will termed as the government company, right? Now it is registered as per the Companies Act 1956. So according to the Companies Act 1956, these companies are registered. Now some of the examples of government company are given below: State Trading Corporations of India, Hindustan Machine Tools, and many. Okay, like say Steel Authority of India. Okay, Steel Authority. Okay, so here Steel Authority of India, State Trading Corporations, Hindustan Machine Tools. So these are all the government companies which are under the control power of the government. Okay, so students, moving towards the next topic, that is features of government company. Students, see the first point, compulsory registration. Under the Companies Act 1956, it means that it is important for the government company to get itself registered. Okay, under the Companies Act 1956. So registration is important for the government company. Okay, now see the next point, owned by government. Very simple. wholly, partially, and the share capital of this company is owned by the government of India in the name of the president. Okay, so students, wholly means, as I told you, 100% share will be of the government. Partially means 51% share will be of the government. Okay, so wholly or partially it is owned by the government of India under the name of the president. Okay, so these government companies are the government companies which require registration under the Companies Act 1956, plus they are owned by the government of India under the name of president. Okay, now the next is, it is managed by board of directors. It is managed by board of directors. It means that the management power is in the hands of directors, board of directors, who are appointed by the government itself. Okay, so these are the managers who actually manage the company. So these are some of the elected representatives who are appointed by the government. Okay, now it has separate legal existence. Same thing is again repeated, student. Separate legal existence means, here it means that the owner and the management is done by different person. Okay, who is the owner here? The government is the owner here, and management is done by whom? Management is done by the board of directors who are appointed by the government. Okay, so these are the elected representatives of the government. Okay, so they have separate legal existence. Okay, so the ownership is different and the management is different. Okay, so they can use its own name to buy and sell property, enter contracts. Okay, so these companies are the companies which can use its own name, okay, to buy the property or sell the property or enter into a contract. It means that they have the different identity. Okay, they have different identity from the government. Okay, they have different identity from the government. Okay, so these company can use their own name. Okay, their own name. If they want to buy or sell the property, if they want to enter into some new contract, then they have to then they can use their own name. Okay, even if it is owned by the government, they can use their own name. So that is why it is said that the management power is in the hand of these companies itself. So they have separate legal entity. Moving to the next, that is ministerial control. Concerned ministry supervises. Same thing, student. Government company, as I told you, under the, for example, any government company is there. Okay, so the minister, okay, the ministry control means the minister of particular that department will be the head of the the particular company. Okay, so the government company is under the ministerial control. Okay, means the concerned ministry makes appointment of directors. Okay, so these ministry, okay, so these ministries appoint the directors who will actually manage the company. Okay, so here the ministry, all the things are under the supervision of ministry. So that is why it is written that all the supervision, okay, all the supervision means they monitor the activity, they monitor the performance of these company, that how these companies are performing, how they are working. Okay, so all these things are managed by the ministers. Okay, so it has ministry control. Okay, so they appoint the board of directors, okay, for managing the company, and they supervise them, they monitor them, they guide them, and they instruct them. Okay, moving to the next, that is financial autonomy. Okay, so they enjoy financial autonomy means they can raise capital through issue of various securities. Means government companies are the companies who are free to use its revenues for the growth and the expansion of the company. Means they can enjoy the financial autonomy. Means whatever the revenue they are earning, all the revenues are not deposited in the government treasury. They can enjoy the income whatever they earn for the growth of their company. Okay, for expanding their company, they can use these income. So they can enjoy they have the financial autonomy. Okay, so they can enjoy it. Now the next is efficient. Student, it is very obvious that all the board of directors and all the important employees of the organizations, okay, these are recruited, remunerated, okay, by the by whom? By the government itself. Okay, they are not the civil servants. Civil servant means the civil servants who are chosen by civil service examination. They are not those. They are the one who are chosen directly by the government. Okay, so they are the one who are specialized. Okay, so definitely they will work in an efficient way. They are specialized in their department, they are professionals. And the next and the last features is accountability. Accountability means these government company are answerable to whom? They are answerable to their concerned ministry. Okay, they are answerable, for example, which I gave you right in the first part, that the railway department is there. Okay, so they will be accountable to whom? The railway ministry. Okay, the railway ministry means they will be accountable, the railway department. Okay, the head of the railway department will be accountable to the railway minister. Okay, so here is also the same case, that they are accountable to whom? The ministry or the department concerned. Okay, whichever department they come under or whichever ministry they come under, they are accountable to them. Okay, so students, here we have studied the characteristics features of government company. Okay, so further topics we will continue in the next class. That's it for today. We'll continue the leftover topic in our next class. Till then, thank you.